2 seconds of drain back hold remaining. 2 seconds.
OTC, PLT, 3 good APUs. Copy that.
Pilot Eric Bowe reporting 3 good auxiliary power units.
Hello?
T-minus 4 minutes and counting.
ULS go for purge sequence 4.
The final helium purge of the 3 main engines is underway in preparation for main engine start.
Go for Captain comes in T0, range status is go for launch, and what is your status?
We are go.
Copy.
Final test of the flight control surfaces is underway. This is a pre-programmed pattern of movements designed to verify the readiness of the flight control surfaces, the elevons, speed brakes, and rudder. Minus 3 minutes and 30 seconds and counting. Final aero surface checks are complete. Discovery's 3 main engines will be gimbaled through a pre-programmed series of maneuvers as a final test before launch. T-minus 3 minutes and counting. Final pressurization of the external tank's liquid oxygen tank is underway.
Go for ET, LO2, pressurization.
And we're completing purge of the shuttle main engines.
PLT, OTC, clear caution and warning memory. Verify no unexpected errors. PLT in work. OTC, PLT, no unexpected errors.
The gaseous oxygen vent hood, or beanie cap, is slowly being retracted away from the top of the external tank.
Close and lock your visors and initiate O2 flow. Copy on work.
Orbiter test conductor John Craxton requesting pilot Eric Bowe clear the caution and warning memory system. T-minus 2 minutes and counting.
GLS's go for ET, LH2, pressurization.
Liquid hydrogen replenish on the external tank is being terminated as planned. T-minus 1 minute, 30 seconds and counting. All systems are go. About 90 seconds away from the launch of Space Shuttle Discovery on her final mission. T-minus 1 minute, 10 seconds and counting. The liquid hydrogen tank inside the external tank is now at the proper flight pressure. T-minus 1 minute and counting. The ground launch sequencer will verify that the 3 main engines are ready to start. The booster joint heaters are being deactivated at this time. T-minus 48 seconds and we're transferring to orbiter internal power. Discovery is now running on its 3 onboard fuel cells. Coming up on a go for auto sequence start at T-minus 31 seconds.
GLS's go for auto sequence start.
And we have a go for auto sequence start. Discovery's onboard computers have primary control of all the vehicle's critical functions. 20 seconds. The sound suppression water system
15.
has been activated, protecting Discovery and the launch pad from acoustical energy waves.
GLS's go for main engine.
Go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 2, 1. Booster ignition and the final liftoff of Discovery. A tribute to the dedication, hard work, and pride of America's space shuttle team. The shuttle has cleared the tower.
Roger, Discovery.
This is Mission Control Houston. The space shuttle now rolling over onto its back for the 7-minute ride into orbit. Discovery now making one last reach for the stars. throttling down as the orbiter passes through the area of maximum pressure, reducing the stress on the shuttle as it goes supersonic.
Discovery Houston, you are go at throttle up.
Commander Steve Lindsay acknowledging the call from Capcom Charlie Hoba as Discovery's 3 main engines throttle back up. Lindsay is joined on the flight deck by pilot Eric Bowen, mission specialist Al Drew, and Nicole Stott. Mission specialist Mike Barrett and Steve Bowen. Discovery's 3 main engines are burning fuel at a rate that would drain an average swimming pool in about 25 seconds. The engines, combined with the solid rocket boosters, produce more than 7 million pounds of thrust. 1 minute, 50 seconds into the flight, we're standing by for separation of the twin solid rocket boosters. Discovery now traveling 2,695 miles an hour. Its altitude 24 miles. Downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 29 miles. Booster separation confirmed. Discovery's guidance is now converging as the shuttle's onboard computers fine-tune the flight. Two minutes, 25 seconds into the flight, Discovery traveling 3,189 miles an hour. Its altitude 37 miles. Downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 53 miles. Discovery now getting a boost into orbit from its twin orbital maneuvering system engines on either side of the shuttle's tail. These 2 engines will burn for 2 minutes and 32 seconds.
Your 2-engine TAL. We do have updates to your no-com mode boundaries, and we did launch late into Pane 1, our only pane. The contingency aboard boundaries we'll use are in-plane plus 230. Let me know when you're ready to copy the new Presta ATO and Presta MECO.
Okay, copy all. 2-engine TAL and ready to copy.
Into your Presta ATO 11.9. Presta MECO 15.4.
11.9 and 15.4.
That's a good read back on both.
Discovery can now make it to emergency landing sites in Europe should one of the engines fail, but all 3 engines continue to perform as expected. Capcom Charlie Hoba updating the crew there with some updated time information due to the later than planned launch. 3 minutes and 50 seconds into the flight, the shuttle traveling 4,700 miles an hour.
Discovery, you are negative return.
Negative return.
Discovery now traveling too high and too fast to return to the Kennedy Space Center in the event of an engine failure. But all 3 main engines continue to function as expected. The shuttle now traveling 5,200 miles an hour. Its altitude 62 miles, downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 170 miles. Four minutes, 45 seconds into the flight, Discovery traveling 6,200 miles an hour. Its altitude 66 miles. Downrange from KSC 229 miles. Here inside Mission Control, Flight Director Richard Jones and his team continue to monitor the progress of Discovery's flight. All systems are continuing to perform as expected.
Discovery, you are Presta ATO.
Presta ATO.
That call from Capcom Charlie Hoba indicating that Discovery has enough energy to make it to a low planned orbit should one engine fail at this point. However, all 3 engines continue to burn as expected.
Discovery, you are single engine ops 3.
Single engine ops 3.
Discovery's engines are now swiveling to roll the shuttle to a heads-up position to get better communication with NASA's tracking satellites.
Discovery, your single-engine Zaragoza 104.
Single engine Zaragoza 104.
Discovery can now make it to emergency landing sites in Europe should 2 engines fail at this point, but the flight continues to go well. 6 minutes, 24 seconds into the flight, the shuttle traveling 9,800 miles an hour. Its altitude 67 miles, downrange from the Kennedy Space Center 447 miles.
Miko, BIM for you, nominal shutdown on all 3, and Pinto, you'll be go for the plus X and go for the pitch.
Preston Miko, nominal shutdown, go for the plus X, go for the pitch.
Good readback.
That call from Capcom Charlie Hoba indicating that Commander Steve Lindsay has a go to press to main engine cutoff as expected in about a minute and a half.
Discovery, you are single engine press.
Single engine press.
Seven minutes, 15 seconds into Discovery's flight. The shuttle traveling 12,700 miles an hour. Its altitude 66 miles. Downrange from the Kennedy Space Center 615 miles. Discovery's engines now throttling back to keep the forces on the crew and the shuttle to 3 times that of gravity. The shuttle traveling 14,000 miles an hour. Less than 30 seconds to go in Discovery's powered flight. We're coming up on main engine cutoff.